All right. Hello, everyone. Oh, camera's out of focus.
Oh, how
New
am I?
camera.
Yeah, yeah,
Yours
I'm
is
good.
great. What's going
Yeah, I think I'm good.
on? I'm blurry. Okay. I think
Yeah,
that's,
yeah, man. What's happening?
I don't know. My camera is like always good. All right. We are live. Sorry, guys, for the slight delay. I forgot how to live stream. It's been way too long, but excited to be back here. Hey,
Yeah,
Alex, nice seeing you in the stream. But really happy to be here today. I know I did the title wrong. I forgot to change the title before we went live, because I forgot how to live stream. But we are not talking about VLC bots. We are going to be doing design best practices. We are working on, yeah, we're going to be working on that. And I'm James Clancy. I am head of developer relations at Locify, and I'm also joined by Raymond. You want to introduce yourself, Raymond?
hey guys. So I'm Locify head of design, and yeah, James, thank you for having me in here.
I'm still going in and out of blurry. That is so weird. Everything always
What's
breaks when
happening?
you're going live. It's all
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
So, just a quick intro because I'm sure some of you don't know what Locify is. Locify is a startup
yeah,
that I joined, and it's really exciting to be here. What we do is we allow you to take Figma designs and in one click convert it into code. So you can run it as an app, website, whatever you need. And this can be a little bit interesting doing that because depending on the design and how well you structure your design and how much time and effort you put into your design, it'll make it easier and more seamless to convert into code. And not only convert into code the first time, but let's say you have to update your UI. If it generated better code, it can generate cleaner code again, making the merging easier and really help out. So today we wanted to talk with Raymond and do some design best practices on how to build your design so that way it's easier to turn into code. Great question on which front ends do we support. Right now, most of our stack is all web. We are in web and mobile. We are doing React is the happy path right now for our one-click conversion. We have an older classic version that you have to
yeah.
actually go through and tag things, and it's a lot more work. But for the Lightning, that's our happy path. We do have like Next.js, React Native, and hoping end of Q2 this
Yeah.
year, beginning of Q or beginning of next half, we're planning on expanding that, and hopefully we'll have things like things like Flutter and
We
add some
actually
additional
have
front.
HTML and CSS as well. HTML and CSS, Gatsby, and for Classic, as what you mentioned as well. So Classic is the one where we tag our elements, right? So we also have React Native in there, so we will be able to build React Native apps as well.
Awesome. Yes,
Yeah,
thank you. All right.
no
So
problem.
without that, we're just gonna jump right into our summary and hope my
Yeah,
camera
so excited to
focuses.
start. Yes. So we have this summary. So for this live stream, it will be split into four parts. So the first part will be tidying up your layers. So we need to have clean layers because clean layers will get you clean code, right? So the goal over here to make sure that you guys will have the highest quality possible code conversion from your design. So to do that, you have to have clean layers, and to have that, you need to make sure that we remove all of those unnecessary layers that you have in your design to make sure that we don't generate unnecessary code. So yeah, to achieve that production level quality code, we need to have clean layers. So that's the first thing. Second thing is layer structured. So that's the second part. So we will be focusing on properly structured layers. So if you have that, you will be able to generate properly structured code. And then of course, if you have a well structured code, it will be scalable. It will perform better, and yeah, it will make you happy. Will make your front end devs happy, all engineers happy, everybody happy. So yeah, still production ready code. I will talk about that a lot in this live stream. So sorry about that. And third one will be auto layout. So auto layout, everyone loves it. It's very powerful, and yeah, it will make your life easier. Everyone should use it. And I have a few items here that will make it will elevate your use of auto layout. So that of course, I hope that will be valuable for you guys. And yeah, the last part will be the Q&A. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to stop me and James. James will be monitoring the chat box in there. So if you have questions while we are discussing, then feel free to ask questions. But we also have a Q&A part by the end of the live stream. So yeah, so excited to get started.
Yeah,
James, should we
definitely
kick it off?
interrupt us. Yeah, interrupt us, ask questions. We'd prefer this be more interactive. If not, we would have just recorded a YouTube video and sent it out to you. So
Yes.
please ask design questions. Also, I think I fixed my camera. Yay.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I can see you properly now in focus.
Silly
Okay,
cameras.
so let's do
Oh,
it.
all right.
Okay,
Your
let's
screen is
just checking
sharing.
if I'm sharing my screen. Okay. Yeah, so we are on the first part of our live stream. So this again will be focusing on cleaning up your layers. So these are the items that you can do that. So these are the items that I have for now. Hopefully, I can give you more in the future live stream, but for now, this is what we have. Hopefully, it will be helpful for you. So let's get started with the first one, which is overlapping layers. So you can see I have a small card right here. So I have two cards actually. So one has an X,
They
one
look
has a check
identical.
on it. They look, yes, they look identical, but you can see when you dig deep into the layers on like how this designer right here did his card and this designer right here did this card. So it will be, you will see the difference. So we can see here, um, first and foremost, there's no auto layout applied for this card right here. So this one has it. So yeah, we always want to use auto layout, of course. And so you can, when you click on the text as well, so you only have three elements in here. You have this icon, this two text, and yeah, I'm just ignoring this background for now. So this text right here, you can see is overlapping with this line, this name right here, Charles Carmichael. So this one also has a specific height added to it, is a fixed height. So that's one thing that we don't want. So if you add that, it will mess up your code generation as well. So you can see it's overlapping the two items in here. Whilst on this side right here, the width and height is just nice to fit the content. And then same for this, it's just nice. So when you add something in here, sorry for the gibberish text, then it will then expand. But for this one, since you have a fixed height, when you add something, nothing is happening. It will just overlap with the text line that you have.
Okay, so we're
And
kind of asking developers to or designers to think a little bit more like developers because
yes,
as
yeah,
a
that's
UI
true.
or as a developer, I look at that and I'm like, "Oh yeah, I am never going to make two texts overlap. That's nasty. Layout engines don't support that well." You can, but it's a lot more work for me as the developer to build that. And so
Yes,
I guess those stand true for even us using AI to convert things.
yes. And I will actually show you the results when you run Locify Lightning on it. So
So while
responsiveness will be
that's running
affected
really
with that as
quick,
well.
while that's running,
Yeah.
Locify is a plugin that runs inside of Figma. And so that's why we see
Yeah.
Raymond working inside of Figma, launching the plugin inside of Figma, and he's actually just going to show us. You can see everything running.
Yes. Okay. So this is the preview that we generate, and then this is the code we generate. So we have the TSX file in here. So we're running on React, and then we have the CSS file for that, for this component. So we can see here, this is the first one that has cross on it, has an X. So you can see since we've added a fixed height on it, there's an overlap, and then when you resize this component, this card, it's actually overlapping more, so it becomes worse. With yeah, you can see this name right here. But when we move to the, oops, let me just remove that. So when we move to this card right here, as you can see, it's properly spaced because we didn't add unnecessary height in there for each of the text in here. And then when you resize, you can see it pushes the name down. So this card is properly well done. The structure is clean, so this is what we want to achieve. And then yeah, think, as James said, think like a front end engineer. So it will definitely make your front end engineer's life easier. So yeah, definitely helpful. So encourage to do this.
Awesome. That's a great tip. All
Yeah,
right, let's
okay,
check
that's
the
the
next
first
one.
one. The next one is good because we're excited about this because we just launched this feature. So, I mean, this is for Google
All right.
Fonts.
Yeah,
So,
use Google Fonts. So, why would we use
yes,
Google Fonts? What's the benefit of that?
I mean, Google Fonts is already in the Google library. It will, if you add it to your website, your app, your your web product, any product that you build, it will make it faster because it uses CDN. So it means that you will get the smallest file possible. So Google will give you the smallest file possible. It will make your website faster, and because of that, because you're not using custom fonts, you will not use all of those custom font embeds. So it will be your website or your app will be less bloated.
Okay, that makes
So and
sense.
then yeah, so and then one thing as well is browser compatibility. It will be compatible on almost all the browsers, so you will have less headache. Yeah, but then in Locofy we also help you in that because I know branding wise sometimes can be tricky to use Google Fonts. So if, for example, I'm in a company that needs to use a certain kind of font and then I've downloaded it, paid for it, I want to use it. So there's a way for you to rectify that on Locofy. So let me just click on let's go. So yeah, so you can see this popped up. I hope you guys are seeing. So I'm using two, actually I'm using three custom fonts. I have uploaded the first one. So let me just see. So you can see we've scanned the component. Excuse me, I've scanned the component, and it shows me two fonts that are missing. So okay, let me just check if, okay, trial extra bold. So let's do that again. Pantone. Okay. Oh man, this where where is okay? Let's see this one. Okay,
Okay,
so yeah, it's
so even
uploading.
if you're not using a Google font, you can easily just quickly upload it to your own custom fonts. But as you
Yes.
mentioned, you will now get the weight of your serving that file compared to Google CDN. So if you're using your
Yep.
own CDN, it's probably not an issue. But for most sites, they don't use CDNs. They're not big enough to need it. So yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Faster load speed.
Yep, yep, that's true. So that's what we want. I mean, we need the code to be optimized, and then it will be scalable for sure. So yeah, so we have done that. We have uploaded all the fonts, and we just need to click save changes, and we'll continue with the scanning. So I will not finish the scanning. I will just cancel this and just move on. So yeah, so that's the benefit of Google Fonts. So we encourage everyone to just use Google Fonts as much as possible. For example, you're building something that you will build as a website or an app. It will just make your code run faster, and yeah, it will be easier for you. Yeah. Okay,
Awesome.
so next one is flattening complex background. So I mean, not just complex background. It can be like a complex graphic that you have that you build using Figma. So most of the time, so you can see here we have two sections. So one has a again has a cross on it and has check on it. So two identical section is just that in here we are using layered graphics. So you can see I've added like some
Yeah,
random
vectors.
graphics in
I love
here.
vectors.
Yes, yeah. And then I have text in here as well. So I mean graphics and text can be together in one design, right? So um I did this in the way that we have a mix of both. And for this one, I am using just I just want to show you this. So I'm using like a PNG background. So what I did is I flattened this um a layered SVG right here and use it as a background. So why is it better? Because yeah, for something like this, especially when you run Locofy with this and then you have text like that, it will not actually convert it to one SVG. So the when you run Locofy with this, it will generate separate code for each of these elements.
So,
So
question on that. Is Figma able
yeah,
to squash that down to one SVG? Or does it have a way to
I
squash it as a vector rather than a
you can.
PNG?
There's a way. There's a way. Actually, you can flatten this into one vector one vector file, so it will be just one layer. But the issue with this is, I mean, it's vector, it's SVG, right?
Mhm.
So you will have a lot of calculations on all of the shapes, so positioning all the shapes.
Yeah,
There'll be a
yeah,
lot of
no.
calculations in there, and then rendering it in code, especially I mean, in Localfy we try our best to make sure it's rendered properly, but you will see like some small blemishes in there, like for example in here. So this is the SVG background that we have, so you can see it's taking its time to show um, all of the elements in there, but you can see there's some blemishes in here. So it's vector. So and then we convert to SVG. So there's a lot of numbers calculating here and there. And this will also generate, you can see here, it will generate an SVG element in your code. And tied up with this code, you will have a CSS. So extra lines of code there that probably you don't need if you don't want to control the positioning of this when you switch into different screen sizes. So if you don't need it to that extent, we can just flatten it, make it like a PNG or a JPEG, and add it as a background. So to do that very easily, so I mean, I will just show you how I did it. So let's get this. So this is our layered SVG. I mean layered graphic. So I will just remove the content inside, and what I will do is I will just hit Command Shift C. So that's copying as a PNG and paste it here. So this is our PNG image. Don't need this. So what I will do is um, Option Command C. So that's copying the properties of this. And for this one, so let's just remove that fill for a second, just add a white in there, and then just paste it. So when you paste it, it will just paste the property of that background and add it as a background in your frame. So then quickly you have a background. Then when you scan it, so actually it's let's view the code for this. Okay, yeah, it's taking a bit to show the preview. Give us a second. Okay, so that's it. Yeah, so we have the same result. Is just that this one, when you click on this item, so you can see just now when we click on the SVGs, it highlights the code in here. So when you click on this, it doesn't highlight anything because it's a background of this whole frame. So no need for all of those extra lines of code in here for all of these shapes, and no extra CSS codes as well. So it's, yeah, lighter code.
That makes
Yeah,
sense.
definitely something that we want. Yeah, for yeah, definitely. If you don't need much tweaking on the positioning, then you don't have to have this layered, especially in the code. Okay, so yeah, let's move to this one. So this one is my favorite, probably the smallest thing, and the funniest thing as well, because I didn't know this until a few months ago. I don't really use this, so what I would do is I will just split the paragraphs manually and just paste it manually. So you can see here, I have two identical cards again. Um, but then what I want you to focus on, so let me just move this out a bit. I want you to focus on this section right here. So the text, the title with the paragraph, and this one, again, same thing, title and paragraph. So you can see a little bit of difference in there. I hope you see it, James. I'm not sure. Do you see it?
No, I do. There's a bigger gap. So,
Yeah.
yeah, there's a
Yes.
bigger gap on the left. I totally can see it. I'm not a designer, and I know I miss a lot of things in design, but I do see that. Very obvious.
Yes. Okay. Good. Good. Okay. So the way I did this gap is I will enter once. So you can see you enter once. It's not enough, right? It's not proper separation because you want proper separation between each of the paragraphs. So when I hit the enter twice, it will give me a bigger gap. So the problem right here is when you have a bigger gap like that, and when you look at the whole design in this way, so you will have this title, right, and the title, your gap between the title and your paragraph is smaller than the gap of the paragraph within the paragraph itself. So we don't want that because the hierarchy will be wrong. For me, visually, it doesn't work. So when I discovered this, feature right here, which actually hidden somewhere in here in the text option. So let me just remove it.
Gotta love when the good features are hidden.
Yes, you can see here this paragraph spacing in there. So it will be initially set to 0. It will be like that. But what I want to do is add 10 in there, for example, and then make sure it's not probably the same as the gap here, but not bigger. So, but you can, yeah, you can control the paragraph um, spacing in there. And of course, it will have an impact on the code that you generate as well. So let us look at the code for this too, right here. Um, so yeah, so this is my favorite. So when you look at, so this is the don't part. So this is what we don't want to do. So when you click on this, so you can see the code right here. So you have this NBSP right
Oh,
here.
yes.
So when I was in college, this is my favorite. I will just add NVSP, NVSP everywhere. So it's like
Gotta
an
love
empty
line breaks.
line.
Yep.
Yes.
Space.
Yeah. So
Space
when
for
I
the
built a
win.
website during my college, you will see a lot of NVSPs in the code. So this is what we want, what we don't want to have, because we you don't need this actually. So it will just extra line of unnecessary code to your product. So let's go to this one
Also
where
not
we
as
use.
customizable, ball. You can't change that
Yes.
spacing either.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. That's true. So you can change it, but it will also affect the line height of all your text, which something that we don't
Exactly.
want. So for this one, this is where we use a paragraph spacing. So you can see here, no MBSPs. It's just the first paragraph and the second paragraph, which is good. So this is what we want. So it's a small thing, but if you have a lot of this on your product, this small thing goes a long way. So it will definitely improve your code, it will make it lighter, and again, production ready code, no NBSPs. Okay, so yeah, so actually that's the last part. That's the last topic for this part, so we can proceed. So hope how is everyone doing? So no questions coming
No
in, James.
questions so far. I will
Okay,
definitely let you
so
know if one comes in here.
okay,
That's your
let's
hint, guys.
continue.
Ask questions.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, so this is the second part, focus on layer structure. So again, this is the part where we need to think like a front end engineer, because if you properly structure your layers, your front end engineers will be happy, because you need to think of like how your front end engineers will build your product, your design. So you need to structure it in the same way. So less work for the front end engineers, and of course, when you run Locify with it, it will give you like a well structured code. So yeah, again, production ready. That's what we want. That's what we want in Logify for all our users. So yeah, so this I have 4 items in here that I would discuss with you guys. So first thing will be use same layer structure. So I mean same layer structure with what? So for example, you can see here we have 2 sections again, and then all these sections have like 4 cards in it, and then you can see here um, in the first section where it's labeled as don't, we have this the first card and the third card with a new tag, and the second card and the fourth card with no tag. So this is an example of, I mean, it's the same. This is how it will probably look like when the product is built, because not everything is new, right? But when we are building it, we need to make sure that, and especially if we're running it with Logify, we need to make sure that um, all of the elements that you want to show up in a specific card will be there to make sure that it will perform better in component detection, because
Okay,
we want
so
this to be, yeah.
so Locify goes through and it's going to compare the design structure. And so it'll say, okay, these ones all have the same exact structure. It has an
Yeah.
image, text, name, number,
Yeah.
and a star and a new
Yes.
icon. But then the
Yeah.
Psalms, which is next to it, it's like, oh, this doesn't have a new icon. It's a totally different component. And so it's
Yeah.
not going to generate a shared component. Okay, that sounds
Yes.
awesome, right? But we know designers want their design to be exact. So at the bottom,
Yeah.
you have new on all of those. Is there any way to make it
Yes.
work while they still keep the new? I mean, we're like they show the variance?
Yeah, of course, of course. I mean, when you have new in there, then you will retain all the things that you want, right? So when you build this, you can just toggle the functionality in there. So every
So
props,
I can
every
just go into the instance of one of those and hide that new icon, and the structure will stay the
yes,
same, but then it's hidden. Okay.
yes, yes, yeah. But when you scan it, make sure you have all the new in there, because sometimes when you hide it also, Locofy will try its best, but sometimes it will miss something, so we need to make sure
Okay.
that you just have everything exactly the same, so hidden or not hidden. If you hide it, then just hide for all of the variation, for all
Okay.
the variants, all the instances. If you have it shown up, then show it to all of the instances. So in this case it's a little bit different because is actually missing. So you have new in here. So you have it in there, and then this one doesn't even have anything. Doesn't have that new layer in here. So what will happen is you can see when we view the code for this. Okay, so so you can see here we are scanning both of the layers, right? And uh, Locofy have that feature where we also detect components across screens. So you can see some differences in here. So this is the correct way of doing it. Let's start with the don't first. So you can see here. So this is our preview. Let's go to code components and props review. So we click on this. Yeah, so this is our component for the top. And then this is our component for the one with the new, excuse me.
Okay. It
And
says
then when
6
you,
instances though.
oh, yes, yes. Actually, because we run two screens, so you can see we have new here, and also we have the same set of cards that is on the other frame, so it will detect
Ah, okay.
components across. So that's what we want to. That's good actually. So, but in this case, in one screen, if you scan this as its own on its own, and then yeah, it will generate two components for you, which something that we don't want, because in here it generated um two screens separately for, two instances separately for this card
Okay.
alone. So we don't want that. We want all of this to be one component.
That
So yeah, so
okay.
make sure all of the components that you want to be tagged as component, uh or yeah, code components have to be consistent, have to be the same, exactly the same. Yeah, so that's what I mean by using the same layer structure. So yeah. Okay, so align elements properly in the center. Yeah, so um I discovered this hack when I was working in Singapore. So but back then I wasn't even using Figma, so we don't have auto layout then. But since now, so I will show you like a trick that I do previously, and then how you can use it with auto layout. So you can see here we have this. We have a couple of designs right here. So first is this two section with this form in the middle. So you can see here I have this section. I added auto layout in here, and the problem with this is I have, can see big paddings in there, and then what happens when I resize this, make it look responsive, it resizes, but you can see it retains that
Yeah,
big
you'd rather give
padding
up
in
the
there.
gap than mess up your sign-in
Yes,
page.
yes, your content has to be pristine in there. So it doesn't have to resize too early, so you don't want that to happen. So what we need to do is something like this. Yep, this is what we want. And when it reaches a certain point, then it resizes. So that's what we
So,
want to achieve.
what do we have to do that? What changes did you make? You mind showing us?
Oh, yeah, yeah, of course. So let me show you this. So this is the most common layout. So we have this on like every website, right? So it doesn't have to be full screen every time. So we will have a content in the center, but when you add auto layout on it, it will then again add big paddings in here. So you can see this like that. Resizes too
Those
early.
of us with
This is one.
ultra wides hate this layout because it's still tiny right in the middle of our big screen.
Yes, yes, tiny, tiny. But sometimes this, I mean, a lot of people doesn't have a lot of like contents to showcase in a big ultra wide screen.
I
So
know, I'm just
they tend
teasing.
to, yeah, they tend to do this more often. So if you have this, this is how you do it. So this is what we want to achieve. So let me show you how to do that really quickly. Okay. So if you duplicate this, so let me just move this down here. So you can see here, it's not resizing the way we wanted. So what we will do is I will select the inner container. What I would do is change fill to fixed width. Actually, I don't have to do that, but this is how I do it to make sure that nothing shifts when I change something. So I change it to fixed width first. We will return it back to fill later. But what I do first is add a max width, which is the same as the width of the container. So 1340 again. And then we need to select the outer container, make sure that's centered. And then in the outer container where we have this big padding, so we have 219 here. Let's set maybe 30 to make sure. So we want 30 across all screen sizes. So when we resize it to tablet or mobile, we want it to have a 30 pixels padding from left and right. So and then what else? Then yeah, so from fixed, we want to change it back to full container. So hopefully that that's it. So yeah, so you can see here it's not resizing too early. And yeah, so it's resizing the way we want it. So that's yeah, I mean a few clicks goes a long way as well.
So I'm
So
glad
that's
we're
how I
looking at
fix it.
this because I think about responsiveness, right? And I know that we use AI to try and figure out the best way to make designs responsive, but
Yeah.
there's certain things that may be distinctive to the way your designer envisions it to be responsive. So
Yes.
making
Yeah.
sure that it follows, if it does the auto layout style, we can respect those rules, and then
Yeah.
you have more
Yeah.
control over what Locify is going to generate. So I
That's
like
true.
that.
But even though you did it wrongly, Logify will still try to help you to fix your design. So if you run Locify lighting on it, you can see here the way we resize in Figma will be a little bit different when you resize it in here. So you can see you have big padding still, right? So we switch to a different orientation, but you can see the padding changing in here. So you can see it's a little bit less now. So it changes in there. So it's lesser padding and there yeah, that's it. So it becomes smaller as well. So Locify will still study your design and look at what it needs, and then it will apply it automatically for you. So but I mean, why not do that like right before you scan to make sure that everything that you see in here is what you actually want. Yeah. Yeah, so that's how you can that's some tricks that I've learned in the past. Makes me happy. Okay, so yeah, so next one is um the borders. So the use of the borders versus lines. So which ones you use? So definitely borders. Don't use line. So for
No, I laugh at this one because building UI frameworks in the past, I actually made sure to add a line component to my stuff just because I thought it was funny. And how do you do that? You make a 1 pixel view or whatever the
yes,
pixel height is, and you just set a background color. And divs, we've all
yeah,
done this. Yeah, no way back's
yes,
laughing at it.
yeah,
He's
yeah, I
done
do.
it. We've all done it. But
Yeah,
um, yeah,
yeah,
who
I
doesn't
did a
like a
lot.
line component? All right,
Yes, yes,
so
that
show us the better way. Show us the better way.
yeah, so you can see two identical cards in here as well. But you can see here we have one, two, three, four, five elements inside this card, but this one only have one, two, three. So you can have you have the extra two elements in here are the lines that you've added.
Our
So
beautiful 1 pixel div.
yeah, yeah, but Figma you don't have to do that. But when you convert it, we will convert it to SVG, probably not a div, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's additional element in your code. This element will have its own CSS, so it will not be clean. There's a lot of unnecessary code in your code base, so that's the thing that we don't want. But yeah, so this is how we should do it, I mean for me at least. So when you have all these elements selected, you can see this padding. So we have a 12 pixel padding in here, and then we have bottom border. So Figma didn't have this feature ever since. I remember they only have either you have a border or you don't, and then it will apply it all around. So all the sides you will have one border, and then it's either you don't have it or you do. But in their update, they updated the feature, then you can just customize this borders. You're gonna apply it either at the bottom, or you can apply it bottom or top, whatever you want. So you can also apply. You cannot apply different thickness, I think. So
But either way, you
yeah,
can
so
control which side. That's nice.
yeah, so definitely make use of this because it will just need to change the border in CSS, and that's it.
You
For
wanna
this
show
one, you have
us what happens with the layout when you change it then?
yeah, yeah. Oh yes, that's true.
No, no, I
Actually,
just wanna
okay.
see.
Let me just bring this down so we can see how it happens live. So you can click on this, both of these. Let's see. So this is currently in wrap orientation. If we change it to vertical, what happens? So you can see the difference in there. Which one do you like better?
Yeah, no, and that makes
Yeah, so
sense because 'cause we're
this
trying to reuse these designs to be responsive. If you have that line in there, that's gonna look terrible.
yeah, yes. I mean, you will not do it this way. I mean, you will not ship it this way,
Right.
because you will hide this. But it's another thing to worry about. But for this one, you just have everything that you need, and then there's a um like border on the right, which you can just change the border bottom, and then you're all set. Yeah, that's it. That's the only thing you want to do. And then let me just bring it back so I can focus on this one. Let's shift it up. So you can see here, yeah, so for this one, I've used a border on this um, section right here when I resize it, and then it shifts oh, it didn't shift. Okay, let me just change it back there. Okay, so you can see there, it still works, right? You just need to worry about this. So that's the beauty of it. So when you shift to a vertical orientation, you don't have to worry about the line um, obstructing your design, the flow of your design right here. So
Now,
that's
this is
what
pretty
we want.
different for most designers because I know most designers really just think about, okay, I'm giving someone a PNG. When you crush this to a PNG, it doesn't matter. But we really are asking
Mm.
designers to think a little different because
Yes, yes,
it's a little bit more
yeah.
work
So
on the
you think
designers, but
Yeah.
interesting.
Yes, yes. But that will be a good practice, because if you think that way, it will definitely make you a better designer right away. If you're trying to think of like how the front end engineers will build this, then yeah, the handover will be better, less back and forth, less room for errors as well.
I hate
So yeah,
telling a
that would be
designer
great.
what they're asking for is impossible, aka out of
Yeah,
budget. But
yeah. Okay, so yeah, James, your favorite. Is this your favorite,
yes,
manually
layer
naming your
names.
layers?
No, I mean, I love using AI, right? We know that we're using AI at
Yeah.
Locify for a couple pieces, especially to do naming, right? But it makes sense. This one, it's, yes, name things. It's going to make the person's
Yep.
life easier. I mean, developers do it. I hate naming. I'm terrible at naming. I'm the worst namer ever.
Same.
But naming's important, and I get that. You at least
Yes.
need to give it something. And if we're going to
Yep.
scan your design and figure out what to name something, we kind of need hints. Imagine if you just went into GPT and just said, "Hey, give
Yeah.
me a name. A name for what?" Or, "Hey,
Yes.
name a layer for me." It's probably going to give it layer 1, right? Like we'd all do.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes sense
Yes.
that, yeah, naming it just makes sense.
Yes. Yes. When you look at the code that it will generate, if you name it properly, then you will have proper context that yeah, this class is for this layer right here. So this, if you have a class called dot main header, it's for your header. So it makes sense. And of course, when you run Locofy Lightning, we use your layer names in few different sections. One is your class names, component names, and your props. So it will make sure that your code will be clean, organized, and um, the front end engineers that will look at it they will be happy because they know where to find it in the design. So yeah, you can see here I have two screens right here. So I have this one not named, because you can see the header is saying group 2012 copy. So I didn't really bother naming it. When you click on this, it's just frame 6. This is one, it's just frame 1. This one is just frame 51. But here you have it main header, and then inside the main header you have main logo and the logo, hamburger menu, search, and then you have your account section right here. So definitely will give you a better result when you scan it using Locofy Lightning, because in Locofy Lightning we have layer naming, so we will help you name layers. But still, if you didn't give proper context on it, layer names can be tricky. It will be sometimes it can be a hit or miss, but definitely we will try our best to name your layers, and we are continuing to improve the AI part of it to make sure that the layers have been generated. It even though you don't name it, will still be good. But yeah, please
But you might
name
just
your
get
layers.
frame 1, frame 2, frame 3 because there's
Yes,
only so much we can do.
sometimes
You
it
can't
happens.
name nothing from nothing, so that makes sense.
Yes.
That's that's a good one.
Okay. So yeah, structure done. Layer structure done. Next one will be auto layout. Okay.
All right.
So
I like this auto layout stuff. I've written layout engines. I hate writing
mm,
layout engines. It's hard, but it's really impressive how while I'm watching these designs, these interactive surfaces. I've never had to do it on an interactive surface. All my layout engines have just been, hey, lay out this mobile app. But
yeah,
this is impressive. I'm really impressed with
yeah,
what
yeah,
the
yeah.
Figma's done
So
here.
yeah, Figma auto layout is awesome, really powerful. And I mean, when you have a frame with auto layout, it will just be fluid. So it will your design will grow or shrink depending on your contents. Maybe I will just show you how that works very quickly. So you can see here I have one card. Let's just move this card out of the frame right there. So let's focus on this. So let's maybe add a fill in here to make sure to see what we are doing right here. So I added padding. So you can see if I add a padding on, so actually I cannot add any padding if you don't have auto layout on it. So you can see there is very easy. You can add padding, you can add space on your contents. Very easy if you have auto layout. But if in here, so you can see I duplicated this, I remove auto layout on it, and as I said, it will make your design fluid. Your auto layout frame will be fluid if you're for example, this image change height. So for example, we select this image in our non-auto layout frame, we change the height of this, nothing is happening, it will just overlap. It's something that we don't want. And then when you add items in here, it doesn't resize. So it's not fluid, it's not dynamic. If you have different set of contents entirely, then this card will not resize. But then if you do it in an auto layout frame, when you resize it, you can see it's moving. And then it's all the contents you have inside will fit. And then if you add more contents in here, it will fit as well. So that's the power of auto layout. So let me
So,
just, so yeah,
I
so
mean,
that's
this even seems like this is useful even if you're not planning on putting this straight to code because the fact that your design can now respond as you
yes,
add things. Everyone has that PM comes back and says, "By the way, we need to add this new field." And
yeah.
we just want to see what it looks like. We might not implement it, but we need to see what it looks like. And
Mm.
restructuring the entire design versus, oh, auto layout, add the property, puts that thing in there. There you go. So it
Yeah,
looks like
yeah,
it's, I mean, yeah,
yeah. Very useful,
having
especially um if you team it up with Figma components. So Figma components plus auto layout, yeah, massive difference. It will work very well. So yeah, so the first item in our auto layout list. So I only have 3 items in here actually. So I hope I've given you more, but this is the only one that I can find right now. But hopefully, in the next few live streams, I can add more to this. So, I mean, I know you guys have been using auto layout, and these are some of the ways that I think that is a little bit um different, a little bit simple maybe, but yeah, the difference it makes is um is great when you convert it into code. So let's see this first item right here. So if you want to add auto layout in here, So you can see we have a few items, separate items, not grouped together. Yep. When you add auto layout in there, yeah, it will just mess up the code. Not the code, the layout.
The
So it will
design,
just
yeah.
mess it up. And if I mean, when you scan it with local AI, local file lightning, we will help you to make sure that it's responsive. But then local file lightning will not know a few things.
Yeah,
So
that thing's
first,
complicated. Like, anyone aside
yeah,
from a human or the designer is not gonna know how to make that thing respond.
yes, because local file lightning will not know that you want to group this together. So you want to this section to respond together, and then this section to respond together, and then this three sections to resize together as well. So local AI will not know about that. So if you add wrapper on it, we will local AI will then know which one to group together, and then it will make it. It will be better in when you generate the code, and then it will perform better in the responsive way. Yeah, so this is what we want to achieve actually. So this has auto layout applied to it, and then this is grouped together, this is grouped together, this is grouped together. So we know that you want this to respond all together, and then you can see here even in the inner layers it's properly grouped together, and then when you resize it, then it will be responsive, no problems.
So, we basically put it in we're just reparenting it, grouping it. Do you wanna show us what that
Yes.
looks like?
Okay. Yeah. 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 Can do that.
Sorry, I
So
like putting
maybe
you on the spot.
just duplicate this one. Okay. So I what I would do is I will start with small layers first. So I will hit Shift A in here. So Shift A is the shortcut for auto layout. I will just hit Shift A on the smaller items and select this. Hit Shift A again.
I just
Hit
like
Shift
watching designers
A.
work. It's pure magic to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Okay. So we have this group. But you can see when we add auto layout in here, something changed. So we don't want that to happen. So what I would do is I will add another frame in here. So don't convert to auto layout yet. So add another frame, resize it to the same height that you want. And then, oops, this one I haven't added a frame. Let's see, add a frame in there. Okay, yeah, this one, same thing, add a frame. Okay, yep. And then now you can add auto layout. Then you retain the grouping. You make sure that you don't change the elements, and then it's inside. You have auto layout applied to it. So yeah, so this is what we want to achieve.
Awesome. Yeah, you do it you
Yep.
make it seem so easy.
I mean, it's easy. It's just a few clicks. You just need to group everything properly, and it will then help you in the code generation as well.
Yeah, I'm glad you're doing it, not me, 'cause I couldn't do it that fast.
Okay, okay. So yeah, so next is gaps versus margins. So you can see that we have, let's focus on this first. So we have two sections right here. Let's just put this on top of each other so you can see better. Okay, so we have two of these. So same thing. You will see almost the same look, right? But
But
in here I've used,
it's not lined up. The
um,
top one, the image doesn't
yes,
line up to the text.
I mean, you can do a hack for it. Like you can add like a frame in here, and then
Shipped it.
make it auto layout, and then move it manually, right, like that. But yeah, something that we don't want because you're adding extra layers to it, and of course we've talked about it in the previous. Um, Let me just ungroup it in the previous topics that unnecessary layers, just remove it because it will generate unnecessary code. So if you do that, you will just add a necessary level of like divs in there. It will add a div which is not needed. So yeah, so here we added gaps. You can see the gaps for each of the cars are the same. Actually, not gaps. We added margin padding, actually paddings in here, and then in here we add gaps. So one key difference in here is you added gaps. Why am I saying gaps every time? Okay, so you added padding on each of these cards. Each of them you will add padding separately. So you can see I added um 10 pixels padding for each of them. So we added to four elements, and then in here
Yeah.
we only added it in just one element, which is your container. So you will only add a CSS. So the CSS will only be added to one element, versus this case it will be added in four. So when you're working on something that is needs to be responsive, you will need to you will need to edit the padding on all four elements, and then in here you just need to add it in one. But yeah, it doesn't matter if you're using classes. But then if you have different components or different UI elements inside the container itself, you cannot use the same classes. So it's a case to case basis as well. And yeah,
Also,
more things to worry about.
when we try to make that thing responsive, I just think of how much of a nightmare it'd be to keep that line up with the gap size versus the text offset. Because yeah, you added 10, which shifted everything to the right 10, but then
Yeah.
put 20 in between, whereas the gap doesn't shift it. So that's
Yeah, so you can see very evident in here. You can see that this just doesn't line up.
and then as you make that
So
responsive, that's going to change as well because you can't left align the
yes,
content.
yes,
Yeah,
you can
look
see
at
it's bigger. It's bigger
that.
now. So you have to check. You have to check every time. And I mean, versus what if you use
I'm
gaps
not
only for the
calculating that
container.
to line that up.
Yeah. Yes. So if you use gaps, this image right here is going
That's
slow,
right.
but
We're
yeah.
killing your
So
internet right now by live streaming.
yeah.
So
Okay. So yeah. So it's there. Yeah. So you can see here, all lined up, all good. Yeah, so that's what we want. So we don't have to worry about responsiveness. Don't worry about changing all of this CSS in different screens. So it will just line up, and when it will just be responsive. You can see here, local file lightning is did a great job on making this responsive. No problems. Yep. So you just need to worry about the smaller mobile things and mobile alignments in here. But yeah, easy to fix. Okay. So yeah. So that's gap versus um, paddings and
padding.
margins. Actually, but actually, even if you didn't do it the right way, local AI will still help you to fix it. So you can see here, I've added like a. Okay, let's just let me just show you this. So you can see I added a big gap, big padding in there. Yep, 40. Um, so that's not how we should do it. But when you scan it with local file lightning, it will then recognize that big padding as a like a design error. So we will have to fix that. So you can see here, yep. So it's the same as what we have, right? So this is what we want to show. So but then when you resize it, so you can see the padding is not there anymore. So what local AI did in this case is it added the padding that you have on the right side to the bottom. So it will then give you a nice separation in this section right here and the second section right here, which is like how responsiveness works. So yep. So it will local file
I didn't
lightning
know
will
it did
still help
that.
you. Don't worry. Yeah, don't worry. It will still help you, but then in some cases it might not be able to do that. So yeah. So that's gaps and margins versus actually paddings and margins versus gaps. Okay. So yeah. So next up, which is again for auto layout, will be the min and max width and min and max height. So what can this do? So I hope you guys know about this already. I think some of you have, but for some of you, it's quite new to this. I think I can show you a few things that you can maximize this feature. So let's resize this. So when you have, if you didn't assign min and max width to your auto layout container, this is what will happen. It resizes. It's okay, right?
Looks
So it
good.
resizes properly. But if you want this to stack, then it will not be able to do that if you don't
And
set
the
up
button just
the.
overlapped the image too.
Yeah, yes, it will overlap some point. So this is what we want to achieve. Okay, so yeah, so this is good because this is where we applied a min and max width and height in here. So I will just show you very quickly. So this one is a little bit tricky. There's more steps in here, so hopefully I can get it right first time. Okay, so let's select this to groups in here. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to add a minimum width of 300. So it means when it reaches 300, it will then stack. So this right now is on horizontal orientation. We can change it to wrap. So when we resize this, it should wrap when it reaches 300. So this is what we want. But then again, the result is still not there. We just need to change this. It's a matter of like fixing the height issue. So this one is fixed. This one is fixed. Needs to be hug contents.
You just
And then
switched to
this
both the
one
hug
needs to be,
contents from fixed.
yep. Yes, hug contents. Oh, so let's see if it does the job. Yes, yes, this is what we want. So we've added um minimum width. So when it reaches 300, that's um then that's the time that it will wrap.
Changeover
And
point.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yes. And then you can tweak it in a way that, for example, this image reaches that resizes, I mean wraps to the bottom. It will not shrink the height a little bit too much. So what you can do is add a max height or min height, actually 340. Yeah, so this is the smallest it can go height wise. So it will not, if you're viewing it in a little bit wider screen, or yeah, screen size, then it will not have like unproportioned width and height. So that's one thing that we can do right there. Yeah. So yeah, so that's it for min and max. I hope this is useful for you guys. And I think that's the last item on our last topic.
Awesome. No, this has
Yeah,
been super, super helpful. Yeah, you're done things that I haven't seen and couldn't do. So I've learned stuff.
yeah,
Um, yeah. Any questions
yeah,
before we end, guys? There's a few of you out there watching. We're getting a thank you, but no questions
yeah,
so far. So our plan is to upload this to YouTube, so you guys can go back and rewatch this, or people who can watch it who didn't see it.
yeah,
Um, really, our goal here is to help and support you guys. If there's anything you want us to do or any content you want us to create, please reach out to us. Let us know. Join our
yeah,
Discord, email us, tweet us, however you want to get in contact with us. Let us know what
yes,
we can do to help and make you guys better developers, make you more successful. What are good
yeah, for
resources
sure.
for learning Figma? That's a good question. Do you have any resources you like? I know Figma has great
Learning
docs.
Figma.
So are there any other
Yeah.
resources you like?
Um, I remember when I was trying to learn Figma because I am a Sketch user previously, long time ago, and then I I knew about the power of Figma and like how people are like moving from other frameworks, other design tools to Figma. So I learned Figma through YouTube. So a lot of channels in YouTube focuses on like learning Figma on different skill levels. So beginners, advanced users, and it can be split into different topics as well. If you want to focus on, if you want to focus on just the interface, then there's a video for you to watch. And then if you focus on layouts, on how all the tools work, there's a the specific video that you can find as well. If you want to learn more about auto layout, then there's a specific video you can learn about that. But you can also look at some of the docs that we have. So we also have some docs that focuses on like how to make sure that your designs are properly done, well structured, and work better with Locofy. So you can also have it. And yeah, Figma Communities offers a few different options as well.
No, definitely one of the main takeaways that I've taken from this is I need to learn auto layout and I need to learn how to lay it a little bit better. So I'm going to
Yeah,
focus on learning auto layout because that seems to be one of the most powerful things that I can do to make my designs better.
yeah, right.
All right. Any other questions or any other tips you want to throw out there?
Um, I mean, we talked about quite a few things, right? But for me, at the end of the day, designers, they do things differently. So the end of the what I mean, they do things differently in terms of what they want to achieve in terms of design, right? But for me, this is something that I'm comfortable with. All of these things that I've discussed to you, this is some things that I'm comfortable with. This gave me best results in terms of like generating code from my designs using Locify Lightning. This gave me the best results in terms of code quality. So at the end of the day, our goal over here is to make sure that you get the highest quality code, production level quality code. So that's what we want for you guys. So that's what I um, uh, been getting using this techniques that I have given you. So yeah, I mean, just continue to design, continue to build things, continue to design things, and definitely you'll reach that level where you can get the best quality code for your design, and then it will make you happy, will make you a better designer, will make everyone really happy, your front end engineers and everyone will be happy. So yeah, just continue designing.
Awesome. Thanks, Raymond. And Mr. X,
uh,
yes, just asked question, do I still code in C sharp? Absolutely. I've always been polyglot. I bounce between languages. Um, right now at work, I was actually working, I built a Slack bot in C sharp just a couple weeks ago for work because why not? But yes, I'm doing TypeScript, a lot of that as
yeah,
well. I actually want Locify to support some of the Microsoft ecosystem. I would love for us to support things like Maui, and one of the first
yeah,
things that I'm actually trying to push for us to support is Blazor. And that's going to bring C Sharp back into the mix. I still write and maintain some of my old apps, and those are written in C Sharp. I'm doing stuff in Godot a lot, and I know Godot supports C Sharp, but I'm having fun with Godot script. I'm really enjoying it. So I bounce between languages. So yes, I still use C Sharp, but yes, I still use lots of other languages as well. So
cool.
any other questions? If not, thanks everyone for joining. This was fun. I'm going to
Yeah,
get back into the habit of getting more of these streams going, and I'm definitely going to invite Raymond back. Another one I'd like to do with him is let's
definitely.
find a Figma community design. This is great talking about tips and tricks to help you when you're
Yeah,
starting out or improving your designs. But I'd love to take a community design and let's go through and optimize it so that way it'd be great for converting to code.
yeah,
So
yeah,
hopefully
yeah, we
we'll
can
do one
do
of
that.
those. And next,
Or
oh
actually,
yeah,
we can find a user who wants to share us their design, and then
uh,
we can do it live
even
with
better. I would.
with them actually.
Yeah, even better. So if anyone
More
has any designs that they want to work with, yeah, we can have you come on and we'll clean up your design with you. So yeah, we want to make sure that we're doing some of these that are interactive and work with you. I'm starting a new series that I'm toying with the title. I think I'm going to go with Tech Side Out, but I want to talk with developers and designers and kind of tips and tricks for what you do and how you work in your ecosystem and what tools you use and things like that. And so I've already got someone scheduled. John Lipsky's going to join me next week, nailing down the date. But we're going to try to get some more of these regular streams going and really start giving back to the developer community and the design community. So if you have any interest or would like to help out, let us know. And thanks everyone. And thanks again for
Thanks,
joining
guys.
me. Very helpful. Thanks a lot,
Yeah,
Raymond.
sure, sure. Thank you for having me. Yeah, this is great.
All right. All right. We'll talk
That's
to you all later. Thank you.
yeah.
Bye.
Talk to you guys. Bye.